Hey guys, my name is Alexandra Valentine and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Here we post all things sewing tutorials, sewing hacks and whatnot. So if this is something you're interested in, kindly give this video a huge thumbs up and also hit on the subscribe button to join the family. For my returning viewers, you're welcome once again. So in today's video, we are going to be drafting and sewing this dress that I sketched by myself. It has a built-up neckline and it also has this deep cut on the neck area and also a bishop sleeve. So let's just get into the drafting and the sewing of this dress. So I've gone ahead now to draft out my basic bodice off camera so as not to waste much time. So what I just did was to come down from the edge of the paper, which was supposed to be our shoulder line, by 4 inches, then draw a line. So that line that I drew is now going to serve as our starting line or our shoulder line. So it's from this new line now that I drafted my normal basic bodice. Okay, so let's continue with the rest of the video. So this is going to carry a princess dart, and in order for us to get that done, we'll have to connect the bust point into the princess dart. I mean, the dart is going to run into the armhole. Okay, so I've already drawn out my dart leg. So what I'm going to do is just to place my curve ruler. Make sure that it's the curviest side of the ruler that is at this bust point position. Okay, then you just connect it to meet the middle of the armhole like this. Okay, you can see that placing the thin side of the curve ruler is not going to capture the whole bust, so that's the reason why it's advisable you make use of the fuller part of your curve ruler. Okay, after that is done, we want to come at the under bust and mark 1.5 inch or 2 inches depending on your bust size. Okay, so what I'm marking for mine is 2 inches. Okay, then I'm going to mark it on my waistline all the way to the hem of the pattern paper or the base of the pattern paper. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to connect all 3 points into a straight line with your ruler like this. You will then connect from the bust point now to meet that under bust 2 inches marked point. Okay, you are going to use your curve ruler to do that. So you want to make sure that you are connecting inwards, like the curve is towards the folded edge and not towards the armhole. Okay, now when we are cutting, you see this part that I'm shading out, this part is going to be going out, so it's not included in the dress. So let's go over to the armhole now and do a little tweak there. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be coming down by 1/2 inch and up by 1/2 inch just on that line, on the dart line. Then I'm going to connect those 2 points back into the bust point. Make sure that it's the curviest part of your ruler that is sitting on that bust point. Now we are done with that. So what we are going to be doing next is you're going to notice that one of the lines, I mean the up and the down, because this part is going out, is longer than the other one. The up one is longer than the other one. So we are just going to measure from where the armhole starts to the bust point line. Then we are going to use that measurement to remeasure the second line, or the last line rather. Yeah, so the excess you have there, you're just going to impute it. You can see that the up one is longer than the short one. Okay, so just going to extend that line with the remaining measurements you have there. And because we extended that line, it's now a bit out of the armhole. We are now going to reconnect it back into the armhole. You can now see that what we have there is 2 armholes, so the inner one will not be making use of it. That's the reason why I'm Xing it out. And then this part, this opening here, is going to go out. At this point now, we can go ahead now and impute our body measurements. Okay, so I'll be imputing my round waist measurement. Okay, my round waist divided by 4, whatever it is you have, you're going to put it there. Then you're going to replace these 2 inches. Remember that I said we are going to cut out this part, so it's going to take out 2 inches from the original waist, so we have to replace it back so that we will not have shortage of fabric. I'm going to be adding 2 inches for stitching allowance. I will then go ahead now to impute my round bust measurement. So you are going to divide your whatever it is you have from your round bust measurement, divide by 4. then plus 2 inches stitching allowance. Note, we are not adding any other extra 2 inches stitching allowance on the bust part because we did not take anything from the bust part. So I'm just going to connect those 2 points in a straight line. So we are practically done with this part now. Next thing to do is to work on the built-up neckline. Remember when I left space here before starting the basic bodies? Yeah, this is the reason why we actually left that space. So now I'm marking 3 inches of width and I'm connecting it in a straight line to meet the neck width, okay, just like this. And then the next thing to do now is determine how high you want this neckline to be. So I want mine to be about 3 inches high. So I'm just going to be marking, or 2 inches rather, because 3 inches is too much. Then I'm going to be marking 2 inches, and then from that 2 inches now, I'll use my curve ruler to just curve out this sharp part. Okay, so you see with that part where the neck stop, I'm going to be squaring it up like this, just drawing a straight line across it like this. Then I'm going to be coming down from that line by 1 inch. Okay, this is where the actual neckline is going to be starting in front so that it does not choke you. So then I'll just use my curve ruler to just connect it back to where the actual neckline stops. Okay, just like this in a slight curve. Okay, then next thing to do is to determine how deep, because you can see from the sketch that it has a deep neckline. So what we are going to do here now is to just mark about 0.75 inch and then connect it in a straight line to meet around the bust point, or even deeper if you want. So this part now that I'm shading is the part that I'm going to cut out. So we are practically done with this. So let's just go ahead now and cut it out. Then we'll move over to the drafting of the back. So to cut it out, I'm going to be cutting through this neck, this deep neck. Then I'm going to cut through this round on the built-up neckline. Then I will be cutting through the shoulder all the way to the armhole. Then I'm also going to cut through the waist because this is stopping at the waist. Remember I said I will be cutting all the parts that I shaded. So I'll be cutting through this line all the way to the armhole. Then I'll cut through the armhole. So this part now is done and out. Then I'll cut through the waist again, cut through the side, cut through the armhole. So you want to be careful while you're cutting this armhole. Remember, it's the last armhole we are working with and not the one we cancelled. Then we'll cut off all shaded parts. And this is our patterns, the patterns we'll be working with. So let's go over to the back parts now. So this is the back part, and I'm gonna head to draft out the basic bodies for it. So if you're not familiar with how to go about a basic bodies block, both for the front and the back, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below. So go watch it and get yourself updated. Now the differences between the front and the back basic bodies is just the zip allowance. Okay, I also left 4 inches at the top part for our built-up neckline, and then 2 inches of zip allowance. So it is from this top line that we started drafting, and then all our horizontal measurements started from the zip line. Just like I said before, all horizontal measurements is going to start from the zip line. Okay, so for my bust round measurements, or my round bust measurement, divide by 4, I'm going to start it from this zip line, then add 2 inches for stitching allowance. Okay, then for my round waist measurement, the same thing. My round waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. So I'm just going to mark that on the waistline. Then you now go ahead now to connect those 2 points in a straight line. Now for the neckline, remember it's also a bit of neckline, so we are just going to repeat the same step we did in front. I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to the top part from the neck width. Then on that line, I'm going to be marking 2 inches length because that's where our built-up neckline is going to stop. Then I'm going to square it up. Then I'm just going to bring my front pattern paper and just replicate the same thing I have there on the shoulder, just like this, so that it's going to be uniform when I'm joining it. So you can either leave it like this, squared up, or you just come down by 1/2 inch, just a little bit, and then use a slight curve to just curve that out. So I've gone ahead to input my dart. Okay, so the next thing to do now is just to cut this out, and then we'll go ahead to transfer all our patterns on our fabric. So to cut this out now, I'm cutting through the waist. I'll cut through the neckline, cut all the way through the side, then I'll cut through the armhole, then I'll cut through the shoulder, all the way through to the built up neckline. So this is what our back pattern is looking like. Now our patterns are ready, both the front and the back patterns. Now we'll just go ahead now to transfer it to our fabric, and I've done that off camera, but I'm going to be showing you a little guide on how to go about the cutting. So when cutting, you want to make sure that you leave half of an inch around the neck area, that area, and also at the shoulder, okay? But the armhole, you are not to leave anything, and also on the side you are not to leave any allowance, any stitching allowance, okay? For the back now, we just add at the shoulder, the neck, on the armhole, on the zip allowance we are not to add, and also on the side we are not to add, but you can add half of an inch at the hem of the back, okay? So that's just basically it. And I've also gone ahead to cut out my lining. Now for the skirt part, I've gone ahead to cut this out. My camera was not recording, so I'm just going to show you guys how I went about it. It's just the cutting of a skirt, the normal cutting of a skirt. So if you don't know how to go about this, I have a video up on my channel. You can go and watch that and get yourself updated. So what I just did was to mark my vertical measurements from my waist to my hip, which is around 9 inches. I removed 17 inches at the waist area, then marked my knee measurement and also my full length, then just extended those in a straight line. Then on the straight line, I marked my round hip measurement, okay, plus 2 inches. I also marked my round waist measurement on the waistline, okay, plus 2 inches. My round waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches, okay. Then on the knee line, I just minus 2 inches from the hip measurement, then plus 2 inches allowance. Then all the way down is going to contain the same measurement as the knee measurement, okay. So that's just basically it for this skirt part. For the back part, I went ahead to use the front part to just replicate it. The only difference is to add 2 inches at that folded edge for zip allowance, okay? And I also went ahead to cut a lining for each of the pieces, both for the front and the back part. So that is basically it for the drafting and cutting of this particular dress that I sketched. If you end up enjoying this video, or you find this video very helpful, give it a very big thumbs up, and also share it to whoever you think is going to find it very helpful. If you've not subscribed to this channel, hit on the subscribe button to join the family, and also hit on the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye.